What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wayne's World. This is episode number 6, and today's date is April 16th, 2021. So, real quick, I wanted to go through our upcoming course schedule for those of you who are interested, and then I wanted to get into some real quick topics that could have a serious effect on all of us because things are affecting our country big time right now. So, as far as our course schedule goes, this weekend, April 18th, we have a class at the Central Michigan Sportsman's Club. That is the concealed pistol licensing course. I have built that class to be beneficial to everybody from novices up to advanced shooters. It was originally designed, and the way I designed it originally, to be for people that had some training and some experience with firearms and pistols in general, but probably 90% of the students that I get in there have minimum firearms experience, and there's even more people that have minimum pistol experience. So that course is kind of built for everybody. So um, that's April 18th. April 24th, we have another class at the Central Michigan Sportsman's Club. We had to run back to back weekends because things are filling up really fast. May 1st is our first of the year defensive pistol class. That's all shooting, all training, no classroom. And I met with my partner yesterday, and we went through most of the shooting drills and the drills that we're going to run. And I had so much fun. It's going to be an awesome day. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to get a lot of good training out of it, and it would be very beneficial for you to look into taking one of these classes. And it made me a better shooter just going out there yesterday and doing the training that we did. And I seen a lot of things that I need to improve on. And I'm sure that if you come and check out that class, you will also see a lot of things that you need to improve on too, no matter what your level is. So that's May 1st. That is also going to be at the Central Michigan Sportsman's Club. I don't know if I said that yet or not. May 2nd, we have a concealed pistol class at the Ithaca Public Library. May 8th, back at the Central Michigan Sportsman's Club. May 23rd and June 6th, both of which are Sundays, both are CPL classes, both at the Ithaca Public Library basement. And then June 26th, we're back at the Central Michigan Sportsman's Club. All of the information for those classes, except for the defensive pistol class, that one I haven't put on my website because we already have 10 of 15 or 16 slots filled. But all of the information can be found on my website. Go to www.paleridertraining.com, and it's all on our upcoming courses page. And then at the very bottom is the registration form. And at the bottom of the registration form, I think there's a spot for notes. But if you read everything there, in the notes, you're supposed to put whether you're bringing a firearm or using ours. So if you want in on a class, now's the time. Gun sales are at an all-time high. You have to train, or you should train. There's no reason to even have a gun for self-defense if you don't train. Training is the most important aspect of preparing yourself to handle a deadly event. More important than the license, more important than the type of firearm that you have or the amount of firearms that you have. Training is absolutely necessary, no matter what your experience or skill level is. So get a hold of us and come do some training with us. I have a lot of experience doing this. I've been in this field for 20 years, and the sad thing is there's and I hate to knock people, but when anything becomes popular, or necessary, you get a lot of people out there that fake the funk and come in and try to make money off of unsuspecting people. And it's big in the firearms training industry here in Michigan. There's a lot, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of quality, knowledgeable instructors out there, but there's also a lot of people that watched a few YouTube videos, went and paid an organization, got a license, and they don't have 1 minute of real world experience. They don't have 1 minute of professional training. They've probably, if at all, taken some recreational courses to get their concealed pistol license. And they start running classes because anybody can get licensed. It's a simple process. And most people that come to these types of classes, not all of them, but the vast majority are blank slates. So if someone's teaching subpar or incorrect information, most people would have no idea. I've had a lot of people over the years, or over the last year in general, come to me and say that they have taken a previous CPO class and they didn't feel confident enough in what they learned to carry a gun. And that tells me that that instructor is not doing their job. That tells me that instructor doesn't know what they're doing. So look into where you're going if you're going to take one of these classes. I'm not saying you have to come to us. There's lots of other good guys and good gals around teaching these courses, but someone should at a minimum have some type of experience in a related field. And there's people that will BS you into the experience that they have. Like, oh, I trained under this guy who had this moniker and this title. So what? That doesn't mean anything. You trained with somebody who had experience doesn't necessarily mean you have experience. So be careful of where you're going and who you're giving your money to. Right in this area, you know, there's some people that friends of mine have contacted me and said, "What is this?" And you look at it, and I mean, it's pretty obvious to someone that knows what they're looking at. So be careful. Be careful with that. And I'm not trying to knock anybody because, like I said, there's lots of good people around. But anyways, things that are going on in our country right now, man, we are steaming downhill at the rapid rate. It seems like there is a lot of craziness going on in the world and in our country, and it's all started to happen in the last few months. In Open your eyes, people. You start using some common sense and see what's going on. There's an agenda here, and that agenda is not for us as American citizens to prosper. And Russia right now, there and I don't know how far this is going to go. Obviously, I'm not in the know on that, but they're massing troops at the border of Ukraine and threatening to take Crimea back by force. And that could turn into a big deal. That could turn into us getting involved. I mean, look at all the stuff that's happened with Ukraine recently. Ukraine is like an embezzlement uh, money pot for a lot of the crooked people in our government. And if you just search for 5 minutes, you can find so much information out there about it. I mean, how was there three people on a board in Ukraine working for an energy company making millions and millions of dollars that were sons of our politicians? And these kids or these people, the kids of the politicians, had no experience in that type of business or that type of sector. And the writing's on the wall with that stuff. I mean, there's videos out there where how do I even say this? Creepy Joe just comes out and says that he had to withhold a mass amount of funds until Ukraine fired this prosecutor that was investigating stuff that his son was involved in. So the writing's on the wall. It's up to you to open your eyes and use some common sense. And, you know, we need to get rid of that mindset that says my side's always right, because it's not true. Neither side is always right, and both sides do corrupt, crazy things. So we need to kind of open our eyes and see what's happening for what it really is. So that's Ukraine and Russia. North Korea is back to doing missile testing and putting threats out there. And we had North Korea in check for the last 4 years. They were in check. And now all of a sudden, they're going back to their ways of doing underhanded things that could cause major problems in the world. Our southern border is a mess. And we had that under control for the last 4 years. And now all of a sudden, we're being overrun down there. And we're being overrun to the point where our agents down there are so busy handling the population of people that they have in custody that they can't protect the border. And, you know, we're a sovereign nation. And to have a solid sovereign nation, you need to have solid borders. And our borders are so porous that people just come in here. And then now they're trying to make it to where we give them our money. Here you go. Here's a check. Here's a airplane tickets wherever you want to go. Here you go. Stay in this hotel at taxpayer funded dollars. And our country is so far in debt right now. Why are we helping people that don't belong here? I mean, I'm all about helping people that need it, but this is out of control. And I think if you use one iota of common sense, you'll see that. Ford just closed down a plant, and they're in the process of closing it. That they're going to move back to Mexico. They just brought it back up here because of the tax incentives, and now because of the proposed tax deals that are coming down the pipeline, they're going to move back to Mexico. So all of our industries are starting to go to crap again. The price of American steel is up 150% almost. And I have a lot of friends in this area that are in the welding industry or in the fabrication industry. And for 4 years, they were working as much overtime as they wanted to, and they were welding American steel. Now shops are laying people off left and right, and a lot of places are back to welding Chinese steel. So that's not good for anybody. The price of gas has skyrocketed. We all obviously see that. The price of lumber is at such an outrageous rate right now, you can't build anything. You can't build a doghouse because the price of lumber is so expensive. Our crops are all up. Wheat's up 25%. The food index is up 25%. Cotton's up 38%. Soybeans are up 71%. Oil's up 80%. What is going on? How is all of this happening within a few months of our administration changing hands? They're coming after our guns. They're trying to free criminals. They're opening our border. Now the riots are back. And it's crazy. There's people pulling our strings that want us to be at each other's throats nonstop for any reason you can think of: politics, religion, whether you're pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine, pro-mask or anti-mask. There's so many things right now that we are being forced to fight over, and one of the biggest ones is race. And America's not a racist country. Are there racists here? Hell yes, there are. But there's racists of all races, and now there's not only is our government pushing this idea, there is big corporations pushing this idea, and all the people that pull the strings like the little puppet masters. I mean, look what Coke did. They came out and said to all of their employees, "Be less white." If that's not racist, I don't know what is. And I think I said this in my last video, but there's a county in California that's doing this program where they basically subsidize all of these females and give them, I think it was like $2,000 a month or $1,000 a month or something like that, and they're excluding white women from that program. So, I mean, if that's not racist, I don't know what is. And then we have all of these things happening right now, which every news media outlet out there is shoving this stuff down your throat as a racist event. I mean, the Derek Chauvin trial over the death of George Floyd is going on right now, and we all saw that video. And I think I think everybody in our country were united and said, what happened there didn't seem right. But if you look into the testimony of what happened, that guy was following his training. And if you look at that whole video, they tried to put him in the vehicle. The guy was freaking out. They got him out of the vehicle. He was, resisting them. And it kind of looks like from the testimony that was what they were trained to do. Whether it was right or not, I can't be the judge of that. I'm not sitting on that jury. But everybody in our country was mortified by that. And this guy was a criminal that was killed. I mean, it doesn't mean he should have been killed by any means, but he was, he had attacked a pregnant woman, held her at gunpoint not long before that, and he was a drug addict who'd been in for overdoses, and then they do the toxicology report, and he had so much drugs in his system that caused a lot of issues. So there's a lot of factors in there that they're not putting out there as wide as, oh my God, they killed this guy because he was black. And was that the case? I don't know, but I don't foresee, or I don't think that officer had intentions of killing Mr. Floyd. But I mean, that's just my opinion. I think he was following his training. He was in a adrenaline-filled, chaotic situation, and things got a little bit out of hand. But anyways, they're causing riots and race uproars over that. Mark my words, if that guy gets found not guilty, which I doubt he will, if he gets found not guilty, things are going to go crazy. A few miles away, they just had the shooting of what was the guy's name? Daunte Wright in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Now, this is crazy. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but supposedly George Floyd's girlfriend was Daunte Wright's teacher. So there's a connection there. And then if you listen to the body cam and watch the body cam of that incident taking place, the female officer that shot Mr. Wright, she yells taser, 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 which is what you do in training when there's a struggle going on and you're using your taser. You announce it so all the other officers in the area know that you're using it. But she had her firearm in her hand. Did she mean to kill that guy because of his race? Absolutely not. But this guy was not an altar boy. he had a warrant out for his arrest. That's why he was being put in cuffs, and that's why they were arresting him. He had a warrant out for his arrest, and that warrant was out because him and another male went and attacked this woman, held her at gunpoint, and choked her over 800 and some dollars. So this guy was a hardened bad guy. I mean, who does stuff like that? Who attacks a woman, chokes her, and holds her at gunpoint over anything, let alone 800 measly dollars? So now let's say that those officers would have just let that guy go. Okay, she wasn't trying to kill him. She was obviously trying to use her taser. That comes down to training. That was a training issue. But let's say they say, okay, we're gonna let this guy go, and he jumps in his vehicle and speeds away and kills a family of four that's going through an intersection that he runs the stop sign or the red light. Then everybody's going to be in an uproar because why didn't the police stop this guy? This family of four just got killed because the police couldn't restrain this guy. They're shoving this stuff down our throats without all of the facts being included. And I mean, if you look at all of these different situations that happened, put yourself in that officer's shoes and put yourself in the other person's shoes. And there's a lot more to the story than what they're showing us. Like, I don't know, I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but down in Georgia, where that guy was seriously screwed up on drugs or alcohol or both, and he was at, I think it was a Burger King or a Wendy's, I can't remember which one, but he was at that Wendy's drive-thru and he fell asleep. And the officers came to wake this guy up and see what was going on. Well, they were trying to arrest him and they're fighting with him, and you can see that the one officer keeps going up and trying to reach for a carotid choke, which is super safe. You're not going to kill somebody as long as you don't hold it for long periods of time. And it's one of the easiest ways to restrain somebody is put them in, a hold that is on their carotid, not their windpipe, is on their carotid arteries. And it instantly shuts blood flow off to the brain and could put someone asleep in seconds or less. And there was all of this uproar at that period of time over um, police killings. And this officer keeps reaching up and trying to grab this guy in this hold, and then it dawns on him, oh yeah, we're not supposed to do that anymore. And he goes back to fighting with the guy. Then, he gets carried away and tries to go for the hold again, and then it dawns on him again and he stops. Well, then this guy grabs a weapon from one of the officers and takes off running. And it was dark out. And then one of the officers, the guy who did not lose his weapon, is chasing after this guy. And he's yelling for him to stop. Well, then the guy turns around and points something at him, and it's a taser, but how do you know that in a split second situation where you're fighting with some guy and, he's fleeing from you and the officer shoots the guy? And 10 times out of 10, I would have done the same thing that officer did. But that turned into riots and an uproar because, there's an agenda. They want us to fight. They want us to hate each other. I mean, think about this. These people are so offended and so in an uproar that they're smashing windows out of businesses, looting businesses, and stealing stuff from businesses that had nothing to do with the situation happening. And our news media tried to hide this from us for a long period of time. And it was happening so much, and everybody was posting it on social media that eventually it had to come out, hey, the whole country's rioting. All these major cities are rioting and people are burning buildings. They're like, oh, it's a peaceful protest. Bullshit. So there's all this stuff going on. And it's unnecessary. And there's an agenda behind it. And, I mean, look at the killing of Ashley Babbitt. So during the incident at the Capitol, that's portrayed in a limelight that isn't true in the news media too. I have someone very, very close to me that was there that didn't cause any problems, didn't do anything illegal, wasn't there to cause problems, left as soon as things started getting out of hand. But he told me some facts of the situation. He said they led us up to the steps, and then we're on the steps, and we start getting hit with pepper spray and rubber bullets, and that's when he took off and got out of there. And he never went inside, never did anything wrong, never did anything illegal. But that Ashley Babbitt, she was a white female. She was, I think, an Air Force veteran, and there's video out there of her being in the Capitol building, and an officer shooting her in the chest and killing her. She wasn't rioting. She wasn't resisting arrest. She wasn't fighting with anybody. She wasn't destroying anything. She wasn't doing anything. She was just in the building and she got shot and killed. No charges were filed for that. And no uproar, no riots, no looting, no burning, no nothing, because it doesn't fit their agenda. So, and I mean, if you were an officer, which person would be more threatening to you? This woman who is in a building that technically she is part owner of, who is not causing any problems, destroying anything, fighting with you, or resisting arrest, or some guy who just was fighting with you, who has a weapon in his hand, who's running from you? Which one should be more of a problem in the mainstream media's eyes? So they're trying to shove these narratives down our throat. At the same time, our country is going downhill, and they want us to fight amongst ourselves. That way, we don't see what's really happening behind the curtain. And I promise you, there is people out there that want to see America fail, that want to see America not be what we are anymore. Because I promise you, if America falls, the whole world falls with it. And I don't want to see that happening. So, if you got friends out there that are on the other side of the conversation with this, show them some information, try to open their eyes. And I know it's hard, I know it's difficult, but we can't fight amongst ourselves. That's the biggest problem. When we are unable to present a united front that says, we love this country, this is our constitution, these are our laws, and we need to follow our constitution, and we need to, come together as one and say enough is enough. I've had enough of the politicians and the news media and the rich corporations shoving their narrative down our throats and making us squabble amongst ourselves. That's never going to get us anywhere. We are never going to prosper like that. And something needs to happen. And I'm very hopeful, because I have to be, or else, man, I would be depressed. But I'm very hopeful that something's coming. Something's coming that's going to change this, because we're in a tough position right now. And all I can say is prepare yourself, find correct information, not garbage that's spun by the media, and train and prepare. Those are the best things that we can do. And man, we're in a tough spot right now. But anyways, I just wanted to get my course schedule out there and talk to you guys about a few things. And I'm trying to get people to open their eyes. And if you have the same mindset as I do about all this stuff, subscribe to my channel. And if you haven't taken a class through us, even if you have your CPL already, come take a class. I promise you, you'll learn some stuff and it'll be a good day. And if you want in on the defensive pistol course that's May 1st, call me ASAP, text me, email me, whatever. We have a few spots left to fill, and then it's going to be closed, because these things fill up pretty fast. But anyways, I appreciate y'all checking us out. I wasn't meaning to drag this video on, but I'll be back in a couple of days to talk to everybody. Have a good day.